welcome to my channel. I hope you are having a great day. I have a project share for ASC Craft Supplies, and I will leave links to their online stores in the description box below. And if you use my coupon code, you can receive 10% off any regular price purchases, and any order $75 or more ships free. And what I have created is this mini album, and I use the Mintay window chipboard album along with the Mintay Country Fair paper collection. I love this paper. I think it is so pretty, and my husband is a gardener, so I thought I would make him this little mini album and we could put pictures of the garden in it. And so on the front, I've used a lot of the ephemera pieces for this collection, and it had this little shed, and I love the little veggies. So I used the gardening up there, and then here I used some of that chippy wood on the spine. And then on the back, this beautiful scene with the hand pump and the baskets, and then you've got your gardening tools there. This thing is so gorgeous. And then you open it. And I chose not to paint the wood because my husband does like the natural look of wood, so I didn't do anything to it. And then you open it up, and here is the gardening shed, and I put this chipboard piece here that said gardening is my lifestyle, and I thought that was just a beautiful scene. And I love how they've incorporated the flowers, and they always have a page of frames on one side of the paper, and then on the other side it has like decorative 3x4 like journaling cards. And then I used another chipboard piece that says Farm Fresh there, and once again it's got the shed, or in this case it could be a chicken coop, or I guess it is a chicken coop there because there's the little plank they walk down, and some more of the veggies. And we'll just turn it, and then here's the wagon wheel and this gorgeous floral cluster, which I absolutely love. And here I've put some more frames, and I've used one of the die cut pieces there of the flowers, and then on this paper I just mimicked partially of what you can see on this page over in this corner. And I love this. Is probably my favorite is the plaid paper. And then I've just got some gardening tools on pop dots, some more frames, and then this page here we have some veggies on the shelf as well as some dishes, so like a kitchen wall, and they've carried the plaid there. And then you open up and you have your truck with the veggies and a little wishing well there. And then on this page put some more frames and a chipboard piece that has gardening, and then some peppers and tomatoes with some cabbage and a carrot, and then just some leaves there in each corner. And I did not really adhere these very well yet, just in case I chose to do a bigger picture. So I just have them barely adhered in case I would change my mind of how I placed it. And then on this one, I thought I would do, the more floral pages. And you can see this paper, you don't have to use the vegetable pieces. You can use the other sides. And like I said, I just love the floral clusters, and I have Farm Charm there and the little wishing well, and I've got the hydrangeas, and then some more frames. So it doesn't have to be, all veggies like this part. You can use the sides that do not have it. And here we have just the beautiful scenery, and I've just layered some more of the ephemera pieces right here. I'm just trying to touch them so you can see where they are. You can see the dimension if I go like this, I hope. And then this side, I didn't feel like I needed anything because the scenes are just so gorgeous. And then we'll just flip this. And then on the back, I have the house again because I just loved it. I think I had it there in the front. And I do have a short tutorial on how I made my binding system. I thought I liked it better than the ring. So I think it came out pretty well for my first time. The next one I'll need to scoot it over just a little bit, the pages. It's not too bad. So this is my design team project. Stay tuned for a short tutorial. I thought I would just show you on one of the pieces of the album how I am getting my pattern. And of course this is a simple pattern, so it makes it a lot easier. And this is the window chipboard album base by Mintay. I hadn't mentioned that. So I'm just lining it up, and I like to, tap it and then look along and make sure it's lined up along the bottom here and the side. And I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to make sure I have my lead out, and I'm going to kind of tilt my pen. Whoops, I moved it. Line it up again. So I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm going to go around, and it kind of moves, so I'm just going to trace it again. And what I've been doing is I have been using my paper trimmer for part of it. So I am going to put it in my paper trimmer, and I'm going to line this up along my cutting spot for my blade. And I'm just going to run it up here, and then I'm going to take this out, and then I want to turn it, and I'm going to line this just right above. I'm putting that pencil mark there just right below my cutting line, and then I'm going to, just so I can save some paper a little bit. Of course, this one's kind of been used up, this sheet, because I've already cut one out. And if I just go like this and get my piece out, it's easier to cut out if you have just the square. So now I just take my fussy cutting scissors, and these are Stampin' Up, but I do believe they're made by the Cutter Bee scissors. And I also use these. These are Cutter Bees as well. And I have found these to be great fussy cutting scissors for me. And I'm just going to go along my pencil mark that lined up. And I am squeezing the scissor, and I'm using my left hand to turn the paper. And that helps get a more smooth cut on your project if you are fussy cutting. And I'm just taking my time and going along the pencil mark. And okay, we've got that cut out, and I am going to take my eraser and just make sure I get all the pencil marks off. I can't tell, there might be some along this edge. I'm just going to run it along just to make sure. And we have our piece to glue onto our board. I have all of my pieces cut out now, and I have them arranged in the order that I want them in my album. And I can't remember if I mentioned there are, let's see here, 6 of the base pages and then 1 decorative, so 7 pieces altogether. Just gonna lay that to the side, and then you will need 2 pieces of, I'm using 65-pound cardstock, cut at 5 5/8 by 11 inches. And the second one will be trimmed down. I'm just not sure how much yet. And for this piece, that is the 5 5/8 by 11 inches, so we're going to make our binding system with this piece. And we are going to score at, see here, 2 1/2, go all the way down, 2 3/4, 3 1/4, 3 3/4, 4, 4 1/2, and 5, 5 1/4, 5 3/4, 6 1/4, 6 1/2, 7, 7 1/2, 7 3/4, 8 1/4, 8 1/2, and 9 inches. And you will want to go ahead and let's burnish all of our lines. Make sure we have a really good seam. I'm just going to go ahead and go over these, and when you're burnishing them, make sure that you're making sure that it stays nice and straight along the bottom and the top, like so. So I'm just going to go ahead and burnish these once again. The score tape here on my longer sections, and then what I've done here is you've got a little scored section, so you're going to go 1 2 3, and then the third one you're going to put your score tape. So you're just going to count along, like I said, 1 2 3, and in the third space put your score tape. So 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. So at at 3 1/4, between 3 1/4 and 3 3/4, you're going to put score tape. Between 4 1/2 and 5, you'll put your score tape, and at 5 3/4 and at 7 inches you'll put score tape, and at 8 1/4 you will put your score tape. So I hope that helps. So the next thing we're going to do is start peeling off some of the score tape. You peel this one off first, and what I want to do is I'm just going to fold it towards me onto the other 1/2 inch section, and the 1/4 inch sections are going to be our gussets. This album is for my husband, so I'm not going to do a lot of decorating. And I'm just going to peel this one off next, and I'm just going to fold it over and make sure it is nice and straight. And where we did that really good burnish before we started, it helps. And I'm going to go ahead and just do this as well to make sure all of our pieces are nice and flat. And take this one off and just fold it over, and I'm going to continue doing this to the next 2 pieces here. We have all of our bindings, sure there. I'm just going to go along and fold these and give another good burnish, just so we have nice crisp seams. And now I'm going to go ahead and cover this part right here of our spine. And I'm going to not cover up that one score line right there. I'm leaving a little bit of a gap. 1/8 inch score tape from ASC. They do carry all widths of score tape, and I do prefer the name brand over some of the generic. I feel that it has a better adhesion. I've had some of the other pop loose. I thought I would try the generic, and it did not work. It did not hold on the seams like the score tape does. So once again, just burnish, burnish, burnish that score tape down. And now I am just going to take this piece and lay it over like this and just attach it to the score tape. And I'm going to wait, and I'll score it once I have attached it to this piece. So I'm going to go ahead and just take off a few of the pieces, and then I'll gradually pull off the rest. Just kind of go like this, or I can reach it and not bend that paper. This is going to be our outside part of our spine. Like I said, I'm just going to line this up, make sure I get it good and even. That looks good. I'm just going to go like this and make sure it's nice and straight, and then I'm going to go ahead and just barely burnish this part right here. Now I'll fold this one back, and I can pull these 2 out, as well as this one right here. I'm just going to gradually work this. Looks good so far, nice and straight. Gradually work my way over to this. As long as you get that very first strip pulled up and get everything aligned, you should be okay. Okay, and I'm just going to lay this down like that, and that looks really good. And we're just going to burnish this really well. I'm going to bring my paper trimmer in, and I'm just going to trim off right here where the start of this lines up. Right there you can see where they adjoin, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut that off. And where I'm using this 65-pound weight, you're able to manipulate the paper. And so we'll bring the scoreboard back in, and now I'm going to score once again at the 2.5 mark, right there, like so. And then I'm going to come here, and I think my last score mark is lining up at 3 5/8. So I'm just going to score it there. And if we've got that scored for our binding, I'm just going to give it a little crease. And where we use the score tape, everything is adhered really nicely, and I'm just going to run my fingers on that seam in the middle, just so everything's nice and secure. Move those to the side, and I almost forgot we've got to put tape on our hinges. Forgot my word. And I am using a 3/8 inch score tape. I'll go right along the edge, and that will help me line up my book as well. We'll bring our base pieces in and our paper pieces, and I'm going to need to glue this piece in first as my cover, and then we're going to attach this to the inside. So that's how our hinges will be. And I think it'll be okay because we can put lots of score tape and this will be glued down really well. So I'm going to bring my art glitter glue in, and I want to make sure I get a very generous amount, and it does dry clear. So I'm going to cover all of this, and I want to make sure I get the edges really well. And making sure I get the edges lined up, and we can always go around and trim up any excess. And that looks really good. I'm going to take my decorative scissors, and there's just a little bit, and I can just go around the edge here. And I also have one of these that was from Prima that you can also go around and smooth your edges off of the pieces hanging over. So I'll just do that as well. And if you have an emery board, that would work. But you just want to make sure that you go around and smooth all of your edges. So we've got the front done. And I'll go ahead and bring in the back cover. So I'm going to go ahead and do the back. I'm going to use some fabric tack, and fabric tack is at ASC Craft Supplies as well. And then around the edge, I'm going to use my glitter glue since it dries clear. What I chose for the back, very back of the book. That looks good. This one feels pretty good. It doesn't feel like it's got any overhang, so that's good. We can bring in our piece, well, these two, the front and the back, and we'll bring our spine in, and we're going to cover this. Okay, this is my 2.5 inch, which I'm using in the front. So I'm going to put glue, or excuse me, score tape all along this part. I'm not going to cover where the hinges are, so I'm going to cover this part and this part so we can attach it to our pages. And the front was just a tad longer than the back portion. And I'm going to get my 1/8 inch out and cover up this little area right here. Once again, do not cover up the score line where the spine is. So I am going to go ahead and just take off a few pieces of the tape and get it started. Make sure I get it right along the score line and line this up along the bottom. That looks good right there. So I'll bring this back in and give it a good burnish. And that feels nice and secure. And we'll go ahead and fill the rest of our pieces off. I just wanted to get it anchored before I did the rest of it. Now we'll go over it once again. So now I want to do the back, and I'm going to line these up. I'm going to lint right up against the score line, and I'm lining the bottom up as well. Do that and then turn it over. Just want to give it a burnish, and now I'm going to take my piercing tool and just reach down in there and loosen up the paper. And if you run that underneath the paper, you can get your paper, your backing out like so. I think I'm just going to start from the back, and we're going to line these up. So I'm just going to go ahead and peel this up like, I'm just going to get it started like so, crease, and we will line the book up. I'm just making sure everything is lined up. I'm just going to squeeze right there where, okay, and I'm just squeezing that. So that's how we're going to do our pages. And we will do our next one, do the same way. I'm just going to fold that back because I don't want it to grab all at once. And I'm going to pull it up, pull the book up on its side, and then we'll put this one down in. I'm just making sure it all measures up. And I'm going to squeeze where I have pulled that loose. And I'm holding this all together. I'll pull that loose. And then I'm just squeezing to get it started. And then I'll go like this and give it a good burnish. And I think it's looking pretty good so far for never doing this like this. So I'm liking it. And we will just do the other 3 hinges like so. I'll do one more with you, and then I will fast forward through the other 2. So up on its side, like so. And I'm just lining these up, just, you know, as close as I can get them. And then we'll pull this off, make sure they're still lined up. And I'm going to go down and just do that, and then burnish. And we'll do the same thing to the other 2, and I'll fast forward through them since we've done 3. Got our pages in, and I think it looks really good. I will be using art glitter glue as well as the fabric tack to glue my pages in. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those in, and I'll be back. I just realized something. You probably could have glued the front part of your cover or your base pages on before putting it in the book. But what you want to do is you want to go along the bottom edge here, and you want to line it up along the inside of the book here. That way, if there's any overhang, it will be on the outside edge. So what I'm doing is I'm going to do the front page first, trim it, and then I'll do the back page and then trim it. So make sure you trim the front page before you do the back. I just wanted to tell you that before I went any further. I have all the pages in my book, and I love how it's coming along. And the way that I chose my pages, I won't have to do a lot of decorating. I thought, like on this one, I could just put a picture up here, maybe put some frames here on that where it's a busier page. I'm really pleased with it. So now I'm just going to go ahead and decorate the front and figure out a few things to put in the center. I did not want a large gusset because I'm not planning on putting a lot of decoration. I think the paper is so pretty, I don't think that it needs much. Thanks for watching the tutorial. If you have any questions, just put it in the comment section below. I will leave links to ASC Craft Supplies in the description box below. And remember to use my coupon code Michelle10 for 10% off any regular price purchases, and any order $75 or more ships free. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.